Hello everyone, welcome back to Development Tutorials. Here is a tutorial and a session on Flask application development. Flask is a framework in Python which helps us in developing an application that runs easily than any other ones. So let's start our things by installing Python first. Go back to python.org. Here are the downloads. Download it. Okay. And im- deploy in order to write our code we need a text editor, so I'll be using VS Code. Visual Studio Code. Here you can see first one and download that. It takes just 2 to 3 minutes. Meanwhile, let's install Python. As it's already installed on my laptop, it says modify, repair and install, else you will be getting install. That's it. I'll be clicking modify. Next and next, and it will be installed. It has been successfully installed. So let's close this one and let's install our Visual Studio Code. Let's continue the installation of Visual Studio Code and install it. Continue. Launch. And here is the one. Let's open a folder for writing our codes. And we have added a folder. So let's start a terminal. And in order to deploy our Python Flask application, we need to create a virtual environment using the command -3 -m virtual environment, and the folder name can be anything. So I'm using virtual environment. You can see that the virtual environment folder is being created. And now activate that. You can see that the virtual environment is activated. So now install Flask using the command pip install Flask. Don't worry about these warnings, you can ignore them. Now let's create a file named app.py, which will be a major code application file. In order to get the exact precise items, we should restart the terminal. So I am restarting it. I have restarted and activated the virtual environment. And now we will be starting to write our code for Python Flask application. Now we need to import Flask. From Flask, import, sorry, import Flask. The one with small f is a library, and the one with small capital F is a function which creates a Flask application. Let's start an application. App dot, let's name it as app equal to Flask of underscore name underscore. It says that app is an application with is a Flask application. And in order to initialize our Python Flask application, we need to start write an route. So let's start that using the decorator function. App dot root of default is the backslash, and declare a function def index. General index is considered as the base function of a application, so I'm using that. I'll be saying return hello world. Let's save this and let's try to run this and check that whether we are getting the required one or not. In order to run a Flask application, we just need to type flask hyphen flask space run and enter. And it says a warning because it's not a development server, it's just a product. This is a development server and not a production server. The error arises, but you can move out of that and we keep them. Here you can see that the text is being rendered onto a web page, so it means that what we have done till now is perfect. And now let's start our further moves by rendering a HTML file onto the web page using render template. But before using that, we need to import render template. Of let it be index.html, and in order to use the file, we need to create a folder called templates. It is named as templates as Flask is being developed in such a way that in order to file HTML, CSS or JS files, it searches for the templates folder and then searches for the required file in the templates folder. Next.html dot type HTML title, let's say hello, and let's start our sorry it should be enclosed in head tag. It is enclosed. And next we start our body tags. and let's say it to render. Hmm, this is a tutorial on Flask application development. Let's save this file. Don't worry about the errors, nothing to worry. Then let's save this file too. And let's rerun our server. Go to your page, refresh. Here you can see the updated one, up, updated one that we have used in the template to render that. And let's modify it a bit in order to get some information from the URL bar, and then modify that using our Flask application. For that, let's use a function called, first we need to declare a variable. So I'm declaring test name equal to request dot args dot get of name, and we need to import request. It's done. So let's try this out. Here name is a variable, and it request.args.get parses the URL that we get and checks for the variable's value. Let's wait, I will check for that. Sorry, first before that let's change a bit here. By I will be saying like this, where the value entered here will be displayed here within the double quotes. So I mean the double brackets. So let's save this, rerun the Flask server, reload this. Here you can see first initially none, and when I modify this one slash question mark name equal to Shiva Krishna. Here you can see it says by Shiva Krishna. The thing that I enter here will be displayed here, and when I enter something else such as Sai, it says Sai. But when I enter nothing, it says none. But I don't want that. Defaultly, we can set a value here. Go to app.py, and after the name variable, comma, the second argument is the default value when nothing is entered into that. Let's say it is development tutors, and I will be changing a bit here. It has h2 in order to get something h2. Let's say this, and also this. So run the Flask server. Go back to here. Run this. Defaultly it says development tutors, and when I give something else slash name equal to Shiva, it says by Shiva. And in this way we can parse the URL and use the information from URL to modify our information that is to be displayed on the screen. And now let's move ahead a bit. we'll we will take the name, and we will be greeting the name that we enter here, and then we will be greeting him. Rather than index.html, we will be greeting him. So in order to get some other things, at the rate, we have to declare another root, app.root of slash greet def greet of return render template. Here you can see get of name to get, but in order to function this one we need to create one more file here, new file greet.html, I'll be using the same one here also, but congratulations space the name that I entered there. Let's save this one, move back here, and even here I will be passing a default value saying some Nitish. Let's save this one and rerun the server. And now here says it's a default index.html page, and when we go back to slash greet it says congrats Nitish. It's a default value, but when I use slash question mark name equal to Shiva, it's sorry, I think I have made a mistake in the code, right, in writing the code. Let's check that. And now let's improve it a bit. Here let's start to take some input from user, and then we be displaying greet. In order to perform that, user called form action equal to slash greet method equal to get and the input type equal to text, name equal to name, close this one, and next input type equal to submit. Here it takes input from user, and this creates a submit button where on click it submits the value that is entered into that. And to get that and to use the value that is entered there, we'll be using a function name equal to request.args.get slash name slash Nitish. Let it be. Save it. Here is a greeted HTML file. Sorry, the greet is to be placed in index. This is to be completely placed in index file. It has to be here. And here we'll be using a function. Then head, title, Great, great. Let's start the body tag. Congratulations. We name. Save this one. And here the name that we enter here. And we can remove this here as we are taking user input directly on the screen. We can remove this. So let's rerun the server. Flask run. Go back here. Refresh your page. Make it as default root and enter your name. Let it be Shiva Krishna. Submit. Here you can see my name with a congratulations sign. But let's get back to index. But when we are entering a value, these are all disturbing, right? We can remove those by saying that input type equal to name, auto complete equal to off, and auto focus. Autofocus helps us to place the cursor directly on this input box when we open the screen. Let's rerun the server. And we can even use a placeholder which helps us to which helps user to know what he has to enter there. Save that, rerun the server. Reload. Here you can see it says name. When I enter Shiva. Last time we were getting many options here, which was really irritating. Here you see. And when you open this, it says Shiva. And now let's get back to the types of methods that we have to parse the URL and get the required data. We have two methods called get and post, which here get method shows the URL completely, but when comes to post it hides the URL and displays only the default ones. Which means that the information that we enter will not be displayed on will not be displayed in the URL bar when we use post method, but when we use get method it displays the data that we have entered. Let's check the get method. As we are the default method that Flask uses if we don't mention any methods is a get method. Let's see that. here you can see Here you can see the data that I have entered is being displayed in the URL bar. I don't want that to be here. So let's get back here and say that slash comma method equal to post. And here I have to change from request.args to request.form. Let's save this. Rerun the server. Sorry, something has happened here. Have to get it as post. Say that. Sorry, the methods here, as we are getting these errors as the methods is to be enclosed in the square brackets here. Double. Here we don't need to specify any methods. Let it be here. Get back here and change this one. Methods equal to post. Save this. Save it. Run the server. And now refresh the server. Slash grid is not allowed because it says here is the default one. Here the method it says method not allowed because here at grid.html we were using post method, but here we haven't mentioned that. Methods equal to post. Let's save this and try to get that. Reload the server. Just the error has been arising because here at in index.html we should not enclose the post method within the square brackets, and when it comes to the Flask application it is to be enclosed within the square brackets. That's the only difference that we had. Let's rerun the server. Let's check that. Here is the default server. Yes, we have got the required output. So let's move ahead. And now we will be going ahead to check with the optimization of HTML codes by using a language called Jinja, which is used in by Flask application in order to here is the it is used in order to optimize the codes, I mean the HTML codes, to reduce the redundancy of the code that is being repeated in all the HTML files. To get that done, let's create a new file called layout.html, and in layout.html the same as here till the body frames. See, control paste here, and the final ones paste here. And within the body tags we'll be using the Jinja syntax in order to function out that. The Jinja syntax here comes slash block body percentage, here it is, and the block body. Let's save this one, and it mentions that the tags that we have entered with in these codes in other HTML files will be used here. And now we can change these things. Modulo block body modulo, and you can remove these two and say modulo and block module. But in order to use this in our layouts.html we need to extend it. Modulo extends layout.html modulo, and in the same way you can copy paste here. Control V, this one too. Now let's check this one. Does it function? It functions the same, or else we have already modification has to be done. It says internal server error. Sorry. Let me check that. Here at end block we don't require to use the space. So let's rerun this. Yes, it functions the same as the previous one. And this can be used to reduce the code, the redundancy of the codes. And now let's see what types of methods does the application support. Here we can use both the methods get and post. And if we don't mention any of the specific method, it defaultly takes the get method and moves ahead. Let's check this too. Reload the page, refresh, and yes, it functions the same. It means that we can use either get or post method in order to get the work done. And this ends our basic tutorial on layouts, how to organize layouts. That important point. Whatever the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript codes that you write or implement for the application.py program has to be placed under templates, as the Flask is developed in such a way that it parses for HTML, CSS, and JS files only through the templates folder of the specific application folder. Here you can see that's the case. I have created a folder called templates and placed all my codes over there, and I am accessing them here. And this ends our tutorial on basics of Flask application installation and building a small Flask application that takes input from user and greets him. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.